You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. So much news coming out of the power centers of America, the power centers of democratic strongholds. We have been inundated with word about this man right here, J.E., and we've been told on many different occasions that his associates are going to take this case far and wide. There are so many people that he's connected with, and not the least of all right here, the Clintons, but also he has questionable ties with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak and the Wexner Foundation. That's right, Les Wexner, who we were told to connect the dots in the posts just the other day. First of all here, a former Israeli prime minister is being linked to recently arrested PEDO Jeff E. Not only did E hobnob with the Clintons, he has close and salacious ties to former Israeli prime minister Ehud Barak. This is coming from the Jerusalem Post. Now, offender J.E. in 2014 bankrolled a large investment in high tech for Ehud Barak, the former Israeli prime minister who's again running for office, Haaretz has reported. The Friday report follows several revelations on financial ties between J.E., a billionaire who was convicted in 2008 in the United States of soliciting teenage girls for prostitution, and Barak, whose campaign ahead of Israel's general election on September 17th focuses on fighting corruption. They seem to be diametrically opposed, wouldn't they? J.E. financed much of an investment of several $1 million formerly made by Barak in the company reportedly Homeland Security. In the company Reporty Homeland Security, according to Haaretz. It's now called Carbine. It develops call handling and identification capabilities for emergency response services. I saw the business opportunity and registered a partnership in my control in Israel. A small number of people I know invest in it, Barak said in a statement to Haaretz. Since these are private investments, it wouldn't be proper or right for me to expose the investors' details. But that wasn't even the half of it. We're going to finish this story in just a moment. We'll be right back after this quick word from my sponsor. We've got a quick chart that I need to show you right here. This is the S&P 500 going way back to 1996. As you can see, since 2009, the stock market has really been on a roll, but all rolls come to an end. And any way you look at it, right now it's top-heavy. So if you're relying on your IRA or your 401k to see you through retirement, you may have a problem. The thing is, have you gotten an alternative lined up? If someone is letting loose with an automatic, you might not stick around, would you? Well, you got to get out of the way quick if that ever happens, and Noble Gold is putting this out there as a heads up for you guys right now. You might want to speak to them about finding a place of safety for your money too. You can talk to them today, just 5 minutes, and see if you can bulletproof your hard-earned savings before it's too late. All you need to do is call 877-646-5347 and get protected with a gold or silver IRA today. Again, call 877-646-5347 and get protected, or get the free gold and silver guide below that will answer all of your questions. The link is in the description of the video. The guide and the information are free, so don't wait. Now, in addition to his financial ties with J.E., the former Israeli prime minister also was pictured visiting J.E.'s apartment with bodyguards at his side. A post at the Daily Mail in January 2016 showed a number of young, beautiful women entering and exiting J.E.'s place in New York City. At the end of the post, an unidentified man was seen entering J.E.'s place with what appeared to be his own personal bodyguard. And here is the picture right there. I like that hat. Ehud. That man has now been identified as the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. A further review of Barak's ties with Epstein are startling. In addition to this, an Israeli publication shared, Zero Hedge reported that Epstein's former house manager, Alfredo Rodriguez, smuggled Epps' little black address book out of his home. Rodriguez described the address book as the holy grail or golden nugget to unraveling the sprawling child sex network. Ehud Barak's name was number 8 on the list. Now, the Wexner Foundation, an internet sleuth, provided us some additional questionable ties related to J.E. and Barak. For the past 15 years, there are numerous entities operating in both Ohio and New York related to the Wexner Foundation. The ties to J.E. seem to be limited to the early years and fairly straightforward. For tax years 2001 through 2006, the tax returns for the foundation list J.E. as a trustee and the person with whom the corporate books are in the possession of. At the moment, the address of the foundation is in Ohio. Additionally, for 2001, the Wexner Foundation only received one contribution of $9,588,560, and that contribution came from an entity named Arts Interest Trust with an address of COJE in the St. Thomas Virgin Islands. That's right. This man, who is now being arrested, the 66-year-old billionaire, gave a one-time donation of $9.5 million to the Wexner Foundation, the only donation in 2001. In all other years of 2002 through 2015, the vast majority, if not all, of the Wexner Foundation revenue came from contributions from an entity named the Leslie H. Wexner Charitable Fund. For years 2001 to 2005, J.E. was listed as a trustee of this organization as well. In 2006, this entity changed its name to the Wexner Family Charitable Fund. Another interesting discovery is that the Wexner Foundation said consulting fees had been paid to the Ehud Barak of $1 million in 2004 and $800,000 in 2006. In 2005, the Leslie H. Wexner Charitable Fund paid Ehud Barak $505,000 in consulting fees. Per further analysis of the tax returns of the Wexner Foundation, number one, the salaries paid by this entity seem very high given the revenues, expenses, and activity of the entity. Number two, most of the grants paid to other organizations have been to educational institutions, with a very substantial portion, roughly 50%, paid to Harvard. Travel expenses seem extremely high for this organization. Some years, travel expenses exceed their grants given. Number four, some other expenses in multiple years seem odd. Examples, parsonage and honoria. Number five, rent expense seems very high in multiple years. One other thing of interest is that while the annual filings of the Wexner Foundation with the New York Charity Bureau are listed for all years 1999 to 2017, the links for years prior to 2006 are no longer clickable, and therefore the documents cannot be downloaded from that site. However, the 990 returns are viewable and downloadable from ProPublica from 2001 to 2015. Ehud Barak must be feeling the heat because he reportedly just released a statement on Facebook addressing his ties with J.E. Below is a link to that statement in Hebrew and an English translation. Let's read that English translation. Following the inquiries of followers to me, I clarify. From this close to 5 years, a company related to J.E. is a passive financial investor in a limited partnership that is listed in Israel legally. Every investor in partnership is subject to the same commercial contract. As soon as the current accusations were known about J.E., I instructed my lawyers to examine the possibilities that we are facing to take out the company related to Epstein from the donors, I suppose. J.E.'s ties to famous political and entertainment elites are staggering. Many of J.E.'s accomplices and known players are no doubt currently shaking in their boots. A former prime minister of Israel is now listed among one of them. Now, what have we been told previously about the things that are done with these foundations and these kind of legal entities? Well, it's a very easy way to move money around, and they can do it with tax liabilities removed. They can do it to wash money. I've heard lots of things recently about different people using charitable organizations to wash money back and forth between them. Well, this would be an excellent way for blackmail payments to be paid out to people like Ehud Barak, to people like J.E., and for money to go back and forth to be given to other people. Grants would be an excellent way for money to be paid out. And as I said before, there is a tremendous amount of corruption involved in these charitable organizations, these nonprofit organizations as well. It is unusual for them to be using so much of their money to be using it for travel and for expenses like that. They are supposed to spend all of their money, and these organizations do have expenses, but they're supposed to be using their money and budgeting it wisely. It is definitely not the mission of charitable organizations to spend more of their money on travel and salaries than it would be on paying out grants to individuals and other organizations. So we have a couple of more interesting tidbits that have come out in the last day. Some posts from our favorite Anon. Now, right here in 3427, these people are sick. Hunters become the hunted. This is actually the drone footage of the island owned by that 66-year-old billionaire who is now incarcerated and probably in protective custody. And that was played on my live stream last night. So I'm going to direct everybody to go check out the live stream from last night so that you can check that out. Now, here's a dig on Ghislaine Maxwell. It says, find 4 connections. This is post 3428. And it links to an article inside the Victoria's Secret pipeline to JE. Ghislaine Maxwell, Follow the Family, UK, US 1 and 2. Umbrella Surveillance, Leapfrog 1 to 4, Points of Contact, Open Source, Find 4. And then we have a link to pictures about her, and in brackets here in the kill box, New York Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. Let's go ahead and take a look at that article. All right, right here inside the Victoria's Secret pipeline to JE. Now, Victoria's Secret, of course, the company that was started by Les Wexner. We were definitely told to follow the links between Wexner and JE. And this woman right here, Elizabeth Tai, in 2004, she was a 21-year-old model with big dreams. It says that she arrived in Manhattan, and her booker gave her the address to an Upper East Side mansion. She said she was told to go there and that this man is in charge of Victoria's Secret and he's going to change your life. That man was J.E. right here. Apparently, he did change her life, but not in the way that she expected. And we all know that he was arrested the other day, last week, for abusing dozens of underage children. She says she rang the doorbell of this incredible mansion, and a butler answered, and she was led inside. And then she was greeted by a woman with short black hair. She was not told that woman's name, but later on she identified Ghislaine Maxwell as the person who greeted her. This is a famous pal of J.E. Now, she is the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a disgraced media baron from the UK, someone who apparently committed suicide. I believe he jumped off the deck of his yacht. And there have been stories circulating regarding Maxwell and her father and some abuse that was supposed to have taken place. So is Ghislaine Maxwell someone who was raised in one of these elite cabal families where they do terrible things to people, and now she's just fulfilling her destiny? She's just become part of the meat grinder. Well, now J.E., of course, we know that he was close friends with Ohio billionaire Les Wexner, owner of Limited Brands. And this was the mansion that was granted to J.E. by Wexner, where Ty was told to go to meet up with someone who was in charge of Victoria's Secret. Now, Maxwell proceeded to introduce Ty to Epstein. He was dressed casually in shirt and jeans, and he began asking her questions about her background, and she says she noticed there was a massage table. She said she didn't think anything of it and reached for her portfolio to show Epstein her previous modeling work in Italy. And as Ty began speaking about her experiences, she said that J.E. moved to the massage table and began to remove his clothes. She says, I thought he was preparing to have a massage and that someone was about to come into the room and give it to him. But Ty, she said she panicked when Epstein lay down naked on the table and told her to approach. He then handed her an implement used to stimulate herself, we'll say. She froze. She didn't know what to do. She grabbed it and threw it at his head. I mean, I don't know where it landed. I just blacked out, and then I ran out as fast as I could from the room. She was so frightened. She didn't know where to run. She tried to find the front door in the massive house, and at one point, she encountered the woman with the short black hair who grabbed her and asked her what she was doing. She told me that I couldn't just leave, said Time. She said that this man is important, that he is a friend of President Clinton. Ty never told her booker what happened at the mansion. She said she was too scared to tell anyone, and she was too shy and scared that someone would come after me to blackmail me, or maybe worse. So again, just another tale of what this guy right here put a lot of innocent and vulnerable women and children through. Just Horrible, horrible stuff. Now, again, it just shows the type of world that these people live in and the things that they think are acceptable. This is the personification of the Me Too movement. These are the kind of people that started the Me Too movement. They tried to use it to shame any men out there that perhaps could be victims, could be rivals to them, while sheltering themselves, making themselves look as if they were innocent because they are taking part in something like that. Look, here she is at a conference, Women Inspiration, something like that. So she's trying to pretend that she likes to inspire women to maybe be strong and do good things. Now, the next post, the next link from within that post is this is from a charity benefit. I believe it's for the prevention of cruelty to children, New York Prevention of Cruelty to Children. Let's take a look at that. All right, here she is right here. It says she is at the 2014 Children's Benefit Gala. How ironic that this woman who takes part in victimizing women and children would be involved in an organization that seeks to protect them. But again, this is just more of the same from these people. This is their cover. They get involved with things like this. It allows them to have the cover. It allows them to move money, perhaps people around, and they have some sort of protection from the illegal activities that they are involved in. Just simply disgusting. Simply disgusting. All right, moving on. The next post is related to the Manhattan power outage. How do you eliminate a liability? Where is JE being held? Reconciled? Do you believe in coincidences? Powerful people connected. Panic. I believe that this post is saying that those power outages in New York City, which is where he is being held, were related to them trying to take him out. Perhaps power, either it is people connected to the power company or it is just actually powerful people, but certainly hinting at the fact that the power was cut out, could have been a move on behalf of the cabal to try to remove JE from the equation. If he's dead, he cannot testify to the things that he and his cabal associates were involved with. So let's go ahead and look at a bit of coverage about that Manhattan power outage. All right, Manhattan goes dark. Major power outage hits New York City. Much of Midtown and the Upper West Side on Saturday night went dark after a power outage hit and cut power to the residents of Manhattan. Manhattan, as we know, is a very affluent area, well-to-do in New York City. Saturday night's power outage occurred on the 42nd anniversary of a New York blackout on July 13, 1977, during a heat wave. Reuters reported that a blackout hit more than 40,000 people Saturday evening, sending Manhattan into chaos when subway stations and restaurants went dark. An apparent transformer exploded on the Upper West Side. That was the cause of the blackout. A Reuters witness in the area reported hearing an explosion at about 7 p.m., and a New York City Fire Department spokesman said firefighters were on the scene of a transformer fire. Members are responding to reports of numerous stuck elevators that are occupied, but there are currently no patients reported, the department said on Twitter. It said the outage extended from 5th Avenue West to the Hudson River and from the West 40s north to 72nd Street. The Con Edison utility said it was working to restore power to 42,000 customers and would provide updates as it got them. Here we have a picture of the Manhattan skyline, completely dark. That is very eerie. And also Manhattan blackout from the 14th floor of a hotel on 58th Street. Let's take a look at that.
Blackout in New York right now. How insane. What the fuck?
All right, more footage from the blackout from Heather Childers.
Here's a look at the power outage from my vantage point. Emergency vehicles all over the place. You can see the power's on down there at the tip of Manhattan. But 9th Avenue, 10th Avenue, all pitch black. Generator power over there. Certainly hope they get this back on soon. I'm sure people are stuck in elevators and subways. I'm stuck up here, which relatively speaking is not bad. Oh, wow. The power just went out in some more buildings. Look. Uh-oh. That's not good.
During the live stream last night, as people were asking about this, I saw a lot of people considering the idea that perhaps this was a targeted hit on J.E., the cabal trying to take him out, and it looks like we just got confirmation that that was definitely the case. Now, the next post is just titled The Great Awakening, as that more and more people are waking up and realizing what's happening here. Now, here are 3 Ghislaine Maxwell connections. Here she is with a Rothschild. L2R, Nat Rothschild, Nefer Suvio, Nick Rhodes, and Ghislaine Maxwell attend the National Youth Orchestra of the United States of America reception at the Royal Albert Hall, hosted by Ronald O. Perlman. In London, Ron Perlman, the actor, I believe, who is extremely anti-Donald Trump. Coincidence, those mentioned in the past are now coming into the light. Think Lynn de Rothschild. Think Gloria Vanderbilt. Think J.E. Think our favorite Anon. Very, very interesting that all these people are coming into play again. Not a coincidence, however. This has definitely been planned for quite some time. Next post, 3432. POTUS and our favorite Anon draining the worldwide swamp. Now, here we have some more aerial footage of the island right there. These 2 spots, number 1 and number 2, these are entrances to the underground portion of the island. This, in red, number 2, I believe, is this right here. Yeah, I think that this is, perhaps, let me look at this, at the landscape there. No, I think that maybe this one right here is this, but this door looks green, and that's definitely green. Doesn't look, yeah, actually, you can see the green right there, but this is different here. This is different. Okay, so this one, you would be able to see there's no overhang. This one has an overhang. Okay, so this one is that right here. This is the area I am really interested in. We have not 1, but 2 tunnel bunker entrances, one of them leading under the flagpole of the House. This is not another 4-year election. Drain the swamp does not simply refer to removal of those corrupt in D.C. God wins. And then next, post 3433, fake news attacks only validate the message. Old guard threatened. Think size and scope of continual attacks by the mainstream media. Godfather 3. Remember, Godfather 3 includes the plot line of the Vatican being taken on by Michael Corleone. All right, and finally, Devin Nunes gives us a sneak peek of what GOP lawmakers will be grilling Robert Mueller about during the hearing. Ranking members of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, said in a podcast interview with Fox News' Bill Hemmer that he plans on grilling Mueller about Weissman and his shady briefings with AP reporters. Nunes told Bill Hemmer that he doesn't want to reveal anything, but he said that he and his fellow GOP lawmakers have a strategy in place to make sure they get as many answers from Mueller as possible. That's if Mueller shows up to Capitol Hill on July 24th. He said that he plans on making sure every question he asks Mueller is a straight yes or no answer to prevent him from pontificating and wasting time. Mueller's deputy and pitbull Andrew Weissman briefed reporters for the Associated Press in 2017 on something to do with the Trump-Russia investigation before Mueller's team was even assembled. And he hid this fact from the House Intel Committee, which was in the middle of its own Trump-Russia probe. Nunes said this alone should have disqualified Weissman from being allowed to serve as a top prosecutor on Mueller's special counsel team. Furthermore, Weissman was briefed on the phony Steele dossier in the summer of 2016, and Nunes said Weissman was in the chain of custody of the major piece of evidence that started this investigation. Nunes said the Russia investigation was never about Russia. Rather, it was an obstruction of justice trap, and that there was never any evidence that Trump colluded with Russia. These are all a bunch of dirty cops, and I'll tell you, some of them better go to jail, or we're going to go down in a spiral in this country, because you will not have a Republican that will trust the FBI or the Department of Justice for generations to come, Nunes said. Devin Nunes also hinted that he will be asking Mueller about the destruction of evidence and referred to the missing struck page text messages after their phones were scrubbed and changed to factory settings. President Trump, as you remember, actually called out Mueller regarding the illegal deletion Saturday morning in a tweet. He said, "This is one of the most horrible abuses of all. Those texts between Gaga lovers would have told the whole story. Illegal deletion by Mueller. They gave us the insurance policy. Look at that." And he even retweeted Tom Fitton. Good stuff. And of course, you can listen to Nunes' entire podcast with Bill Hemmer in an episode of Hemmer Time by clicking the link in the article, which I do leave in the pinned comment below. Well, guys, lots of stuff is happening. I personally cannot wait to see Devin Nunes questioning Robert Mueller. We know that we were told very recently that the Mueller hearings have been pushed back. Looks like they are trying to get more time because I think everybody's necks are on the line here. I think that Devin Nunes is going to be one of the best interviewers of Robert Mueller once he does get in front of Congress, and there will be no shortage of questions to ask. All right, folks, I think that's all that I have for you tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.